Hey, friends, don't forget to check out the new podcast, Boozy Blatherings, hosted by Megan Mitlow. It's funny and informative. It's like Merriam-Webster meets drunk history. It's great. Check it out.
Hey, listeners, we've got another guest host for tonight's show. If you're a regular listener, you'll recognize him from previous podcasts.
That's right. The hilarious and talented Sean Taylor from Denmark on High will be interviewing Rudy Alexeff with High Bank Distillery. I hope you enjoy. Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome to If This Bar Could Talk, a podcast about bartenders and the stories they have to tell, as well as the storied history of cocktails, spirits, and bars.
Well, what's up, guys? I am guest hosting, as they mentioned before, and I'm here with my good friend, Rudy Alexeff.
So good.
Did I say it right?
You did. Well, it's close enough.
It's close enough.
What
I
the
don't
hell?
know.
Who gives a
Yeah.
shit?
Do we respect Russians in America anymore? I don't know.
I don't.
Yeah.
I haven't respected them my whole life.
Yeah, there you go. Right on. Rudy is the brand ambassador for High Banks Distillery. Like I said, a good friend of mine. And we are you drinking Whiskey War? What are you drinking?
Right now I'm drinking Weller Reserve just because it was in front of me. Because I drank all the Whiskey War that was in front of me.
Yeah. Well, we've got plenty more. There's so
never
many bottles
lasts
around the
with me.
studio. It's kind of, I feel like we need a liquor license to be in here right now.
There's a lot.
That's
There's
all
a
right,
lot.
though.
I feel good about it.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
But so Rudy, tell me a little bit about High Bank, like, because you guys are the newest distillery in the Columbus scene, and you guys stepped onto the scene with such confidence and poise, and literally just were creating products that were as good as established distilleries. So tell me about take me back to the beginning of High Bank and talk to me about that a little bit.
Well, the beginning of High Bank, it's true. Like what you say, like it has come across that way, and I think there's good reasons for that. Number one is we followed in the footsteps of really great trailblazers. We followed in the footsteps of people that broke through barriers, that went over all the speed bumps for us, right? And so we owe, and we are open about this. We say this a lot. We owe a lot of gratitude to Watershed Distillery. We owe a lot of gratitude to Middle West Spirits. We are big fans of theirs. And so whenever people are saying, is there competitive spirit between you and any of the other established distilleries in town? And the answer is absolutely not. We love them. We care about them. We want them to do well.
Right.
They broke through doors for us. And so we got to sort of ride some of their coattails,
For sure.
right? And so we appreciate that. Now, as far as some of the other aspects, just as far as having a little bit of the swagger that we have when we talk about our own spirits, that really comes down to really the two really good friends behind our brand that started this whole thing, and they started it over what you and I are doing right now, right?
Right.
And
Cheers.
so, cheers. So they started this entire process over enjoying each other's company, over drinking spirits, and over friendship. And so Adam Hines and Jordan Hellman were drinking one night together, and they were talking about what if we used our friendship sort of as this springboard to do something that we love, but also give something back, but also produce something that we love. What if we, they initially thought like, hey, maybe we should start a brewery, right? Because that's inventive,
Right.
That's unique.
We don't have 300 breweries in Ohio.
We
It's
don't
fine.
have 48 in Central Ohio, but they when the laws in the state of Ohio changed, and it became
What laws do you mean?
so in 2016, the state of Ohio changed the law because up until that year, you could not have a distillery and serve food or alcohol at that distillery.
Yeah.
So you could have it at a restaurant, serves food and alcohol. You could have a distillery. You couldn't have those on the same property until 2016. And so High Bank actually is the
that right
first.
when Watershed and Middle West did their thing?
So when that law changed, they started doing construction on their buildings.
Okay.
But we got our licensure in right away, and so we're the very first from the ground up. We built our entire
2016.
Yeah, 2016.
Really?
So we built our entire establishment on the premise that when you come to High Bank Distillery, you're coming to a distillery, restaurant, bar concept in one. You're not coming to a distillery that added a restaurant. You're not coming to a restaurant that added a distillery. You're coming to this experience. And so when you walk into High Bank, for those of you that haven't been there, you walk in the door, you can see all the way back into the back of the distillery.
Really
right?
open space.
Yeah, super open space, and the whole idea behind that is that we are a concept that is basically an entire experience all in one.
Mm-hmm.
You can come there, you can do a tour, you can be there with your friends, and then you also can sit down, you can have dinner, you can have lunch, you can, so it's like this thing where you can spend hours there and experience different things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what friendship is all about. So that's where, getting back to Adam and Jordan, what their friendship means, that's the expression of High Bank. So when we talk about confidence, in what we have, it's because we brought that from the very beginning. That's the foundation of High Bank Distillery.
And were you with them since 2016? When did you come on board with this?
Oh, hell no.
I feel like I just met you like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. It wasn't that long ago where I didn't know who the fuck Rudy Alexeff was.
Who is that asshole? So basically, I've known Adam for about 10 years.
Okay.
A little bit more than that now. And so good friend of mine, long before he was a distiller, long before this journey. We used to work together, so
tell me you guys worked at like a Subway or something like that together.
Wouldn't that be nice?
That'd be
no,
so
it's
funny.
much more intriguing than that. So Adam and I worked at a local church together. I was his pastor. And
that's right. I remember you fucking telling me that I'm like you, the embodiment of sin. We're a pastor.
And it does not fit right. It fits just right. So I was his pastor, and that's sort of how our friendship began.
Yeah.
And then he worked in the communications department. So he's actually a graphic designer by trade. So he went to he went to the CCAD. He really cut his teeth at Vineyard Columbus. He was working for not a lot of money, and doing a lot of work. So to finish out your question there, or just your inquiry, we benefited from people who came before us. That's number one. We benefited from the friendship that Adam and Jordan had, right?
Yep.
We benefited from their partnerships that they had with other friends, Calvin Jones, Jeff Ireland, and others.
Calvin isn't still there, is he? Like,
Yeah.
I haven't seen Calvin
for sure.
in forever, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, still alive. Still alive.
I mean, I hope
Kicking.
so. Fuck.
Good looking guy. Very happy. Yeah, like
that
Calvin a
haircut,
lot.
are you kidding me?
Oh,
He's
right?
got
His
the haircut in Columbus.
Listen, if there was a best haircut in Columbus, Calvin, if you're listening, I'm jealous of those locks, my friend.
He has so much
He's
hair.
a
He's like,
gorgeous
you know
man.
what? We're just gonna take out 60% of it and just have this real handsome strip on the top of my fucking head. And it's
So
like,
gorgeous, right?
as a bald man, I'm really jealous. I'm
unbelievable,
like,
that guy.
can I just like strip that off and just lay it on right there?
I think you could own that look.
Yeah.
I think you would look good. So
everyone looks good with
we
hair.
benefit from them, those friendships too. But also, I'll just say this: Adam, in his natural talents and abilities, he's a very creative guy, right? And I talk about him being a graphic designer, owning his own design firm, right? States of Design. Which he's still running, right? He's still running that business as well. He's doing two businesses at once, right? So he's naturally this creative guy. He took that discipline of creativity as a designer, and he really sort of gave all of those efforts into becoming a distiller. So he went to, this is a real place. Now, this may sound like bullshit. So Moonshine University, that's a real place. It's in Louisville, right?
Yeah,
Okay?
I bet it is. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's in
it
Kentucky.
is.
I fucking bet.
It's
My
definitely
God.
it's like the premier distillation school in the country. I mean, this is like, it's a place where you go. They're intensives.
I do think I've heard the name before.
So it's intensives, and it's taught by master distillers that are from the area, that are from.
I mean, the Bourbon Trail's right there.
The
So I'm
Bourbon
sure
Trail,
there's
right?
like,
Yeah.
this week we got Woodford in. Next week we got, Heaven Hill in.
And Jim Beam, so they're all there, right? And they're all participating, they're all teaching. And so he learned from the best, right? Then he went and interned in New York at a distillery there. And then when we started actually High Bank, we invited master distillers from some prominent distillers, from Peerless, from Jim Beam, from others, to walk us through our process at High Bank Distillery. Because when we're making our spirits, we didn't want to just go, hey, look, we did the bookwork. We're trusting in our we actually said, okay, we want distillers from places that we truly respect, their craft, what they've been doing day in, day out, year in, year out, sometimes decades, sometimes, longer, right? So that's why when we release our spirits, that we've got such great confidence, why we believe in the flavor profiles, is because it comes from this friendship, it comes from creativity, and it comes from like this really rich experience of inviting these like really genius distillers to walk us through our process. So that's why High Bank, though it may be young on the market, right? So we start making our spirits in 2017, right? Why we hit it so hard, and why we just won six awards from 614.
You guys fucking swept.
Yeah, we crushed
614 this year.
Yeah,
and one of the things you mentioned, and I think it's funny because like all distillery people are the same, where they're like, everyone in this town's great. Oh my gosh, I love everyone else's whiskey, and I'm like, yeah, I know you do.
Sure.
And I love everyone too, but there's like one of the problems I've witnessed, and what I think you guys are unique in, is that a lot of whiskeys that are made locally are a little young, and you can taste that.
Yeah.
It's like a good whiskey is something that you can drink neat, but you also have inspiration to mix with. And I think Midnight Cask is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
It's a whiskey I will drink neat, but I have the preference to make a Manhattan out of it because it is that whiskey, and I think that makes it even better. Versus like, so I didn't agree with Middle West Spirits rebranding. As a bartender, I hated their fucking bottles. Honestly, at the end of the day, 451's bottles take the cake as far as just bottles.
100. They
just work so well.
For being in a well, for being a bartender, for being a slinger, which we have to do sometimes. Now, Denmark, which you do, is a little more craft, so there's a little more attention.
Yeah.
High Bank has a little even higher volume, right? And so
you guys have like twice the volume.
Yeah, so our volume's really high. When you're in the well, there's a desperation factor.
I've seen you behind the bar by yourself on a Sunday morning at brunch.
Not great.
And you still were sending over drinks to me, and I'm like, is he okay? Can I help him? Can I do dishes or something?
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of care, tenderness, and prayer.
Yeah. But I and prayer. Rudy prays before every shift.
Well,
I don't know if you knew that.
Let's not stretch the truth. So there, branding is a tricky thing, right?
It
because
really is.
It's a tricky thing, and labeling is a tricky thing. To even get a label approved sometimes can take 6 to 9 months.
It's ridiculous.
Right? The government is really surprisingly not efficient. I don't know if you heard that.
There's nothing efficient about Ohio liquor laws at all, honestly.
Yeah.
But like you guys, like it's minimalist, and it's clean, and it's still sharp. On the exact opposite end of the spectrum, and I'm one of the fans of Chad's stuff, 451's labels are screaming in your face, like the pizza one. There's
too much, right?
Mikey's grotesque mascot is on the front of this thing, and it's just like, eh. And I love 451 like that. Like if you know anything about Denmark, we make all of our house-made liqueurs, which is everything. We get unaged brandy from them, and that's why we have their stuff. You don't have a cocktail at Denmark without 451 being involved.
Yeah.
But the labeling it's so polarizing when you talk to people about it. You either love it or you absolutely hate it. You're like, oh God.
Yeah.
Like it's too much. And I'm like,
I'm with you.
Great.
I'm with you. I love their stuff.
Yeah.
They could use the hand of a good designer. I know one, but he's my master distiller.
And you're not trading secrets.
I'm not.
See right there. There it is. You're like, oh, we're gonna trade it. Yeah, we're gonna do all this stuff. Could I get your designer? Nah.
No, listen, I'll tell you this. Hey, listen, if you're listening, buy 451 Spirits.
Yeah,
I fully believe in them and what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I don't have to like the label.
No, that's the thing about it is that like it doesn't matter if you like the labeling. It's like do you like the product they're producing? Because honestly, when it comes to uniqueness in the city and uniqueness in the state and in liquor in general, Bone Shaker as a whiskey is probably the most unique whiskey I've ever tasted. Not even like it's one of the best whiskeys. Not saying it's bad, but it's just like when you put Bone Shaker in something, that flavor is there and you are not mixing it out.
True.
You have to try
absolutely
so hard and you'll probably fail most of the time, but that's what I enjoy about it.
Yeah.
And they make that absinthe and like the pizza whiskey. I mean, my God, the idea is disgusting, but the whiskey's so good.
It's delicious.
It makes the
really,
best
really
Bloody
good.
Mary.
It
really
so
does.
Good. It's so good.
I mean, like Chad literally throws a fucking piece of pizza, like a slice of Mikey's, in the distillation process, and apparently, like the proof is so high at that time that it just disintegrates into nothing.
It's into
nothing.
nothing.
It's basically not even there. But it's just the fact that he's like, yeah, totally. I go buy a slice of Mikey's and he's like, bloop,
and drops it in,
and it's
so great that all of those things end up being local.
Yeah, right.
It's really, really creative.
When
he's a genius. For sure.
I mean, yeah, especially when you go to 451 and you're there with Chad. He's just this fucking punk rock dude that literally rode to work on a skateboard and wears the same hat every day. He's listened to fucking metal in the distillery, and he's just the realest guy ever.
For
Like
sure.
he like you said, everyone's great, but Chad is just like he's just different. If you lined up all the distillers in the city, even the high bank guys, you'd be like, yeah. Who the fuck is
Who's that
How
guy?
did you get in here?
For sure.
And it's like, oh shit, it's Chad.
Yeah. No,
Love that man.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
But on that note of bourbon, what are your feelings about how high bank stacks up to like regular, like not Ohio bourbon? Because we're not trying to like do like distillery against distillery.
Yeah, sure. Totally.
The staple is Kentucky bourbon, like the Bookers we were drinking earlier.
For sure. Mm-hmm.
How do you feel like, for example, like the barrel proof stacks up against other whiskeys? Do you think there's room for you to be improving on these things? Because for sure. Everyone should be, but at the same time, you guys, like I said, the Midnight Cask. This stuff is on par with Basil Hayden's Dark Rye. If you
for sure.
Had it, get it. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But this stuff is a locally made Basil Hayden's Dark Rye.
Yeah.
But
better, because I think to just be honest, because our mash bill is about 80% rye in our barrel proof, right? And that we finish with our tawny port, right? And Adam's flavor profiling, because he also loves Basil Hayden Dark Rye. We should drink that together often. And in fact, my glass is empty. So if you're a true friend who cares about
I'm a really
me,
bad host.
Yeah.
There's not enough liquor pouring right now.
He also loved when we would go out, we would get Basil Hayden Dark Rye together, and because we love the product. But in his flavor profiling, what he discovered is really to pair with rye. He really felt like port was the better flavor profile to rest with rye, and I actually agree with him. So that's where I would that's where I would diverge.
Cherry is usually the go-to for anyone that's trying to convey cherry and sweet notes.
They are, and what I have. And I agree with Adam in my tasting and how I receive things. And again, like everybody, everyone's different. For me, when sherry is mixed with rye, what I miss actually is cherry altogether, and what I get is sugar, right? And when
not sherry.
Yeah, right. And when port is mixed with rye, right? When you have that marriage together,
a little more dryness.
It's a little more dryness, and it's a little more earthy, right? And so now you get those grapes and those plums. Now you get that apricot note that you were missing.
Apricot,
and so
that's a strong note in this for sure.
That's where Midnight Cask, I think, kind of stacks up against Basil Hayden Dark Rye, which I still love, and I still always have a bottle of at home. I just have twice.
Well, the thing about
Midnight Cask.
Basil Hayden's, I feel like a lot of people don't know, is that Basil Hayden's is a like straight blend of Canadian whiskey and something else, like. So you guys barrel aged this to give it these cherry flavors and the apricot flavor. Basil Hayden's literally blended two spirits to create their one thing.
Yeah.
Which is fine because I love Basil Hayden's. Basil
It's
Hayden's
delicious.
my favorite product to like buy for someone that doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about.
For sure.
And I'll bring up a bottle of $30 Basil Hayden's. They're like, oh my gosh, you didn't have to spend this much money. And I'm like,
yes, I did. Yes, I did.
For you, buddy. Yeah.
It's it's a great. So when people, so it's fun that you mentioned that. So for I picture Basil Hayden as a great, and I've done this multiple times. I think you've actually told me you've done this too.
Yeah.
That you use it's a great gateway drug to bourbon, right?
Back to influencing alcoholism.
Right.
Love it.
It's a great gateway drug to bourbon is Basil Hayden because it's soft enough, right? It's a light enough proof. It's soft enough that it's not going to turn people off. But it has enough flavor that people are now their appetite, their brain waves are now sort of like floating in the bourbon world, and so it's a really good one to get people hooked.
Bourbon. I first heard the phrase acquired taste when it came to beer and IPAs and stuff like that, and I am an avid IPA drinker. I mean, I hate saying that as like a white guy because they're like, yeah, I bet you are.
Yeah, it's great. Another white guy drinking IPAs. Awesome. Well done, bro.
You have a triple IPA? How about a quadruple? No? All right,
I'm so cool.
Bar.
Look at my beard.
But look at my beard. Yeah, look at my beard. I put oil in this thing. I have my own brush. I do. God damn it. With this thing, you got to. Come on.
Right.
It's unruly. But whiskey's the actual arena where I feel like it is an acquired taste, because when I'm explaining this stuff to people at Denmark, I'm by no means an aficionado on whiskey, but I know a decent amount of stuff, as any bartender in Ohio next to Kentucky should.
Right.
It's like Booker's. no whiskey tastes good. If I gave you a strawberry and whiskey, you'd be like, that's disgusting. This is delicious. So it's like, even Midnight Cast, no, I wouldn't. I'm not going to be like, this tastes good. But for what it is, it tastes good. And that's where like that mindset needs to come in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, hold on. That vanilla rye, wherever it is we had earlier.
Yeah,
That's
that was
all right,
that
fine.
was fire.
That's
fire.
actually delicious.
Yeah,
and I'm
fire.
like, fuck.
Yeah.
But like with whiskey, it is an acquired taste in the way that like you need to notice the subtle nuances of things.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I've learned from the multiple tastings I've done, and something I don't see people do enough, is do the thing where like you look at it and you see the legs of the whiskey or any spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And like I feel like people, when they see me doing that, they see me swirling it around in my tasting glass and I put it up to the light and they're like, this fucking asshole thinks he knows what he's talking about. I'm like, no, I was just looking at the legs of the cocktail, or the, like, you know. And for people that don't know, when you swill any plain spirit around in the glass, there will be like a film on the edge of the glass, and that's called the legs. Typically, longer aged spirits, correct me if I'm wrong, longer aged spirits have more legs.
They do. They
Right.
do. Yeah, because they're gaining these. They're actually gaining oils. Actually, so they're gaining oils from wood. So
Right.
when a tree is growing, right? So what does a tree use to grow? Right? It uses like sugar. We call it sap. Right? Okay.
Oh,
So
yeah, right.
so when they're doing that, those sugars, okay, live inside of the wood. Right?
Right.
Now, when we're making a barrel, we're making it out of wood. When the process of
What are your
of
guys'
the
barrels,
whiskey,
by the way?
so we use every time you're making bourbon, if you're making a good whiskey in the United States, you're using American oak, right? And
Right.
so but if you're making bourbon, you have to use American oak.
Right. But you're not in Kentucky, so you don't exactly have to adhere to those rules.
You do for bourbon, you have to use oak, right? Now the one thing that there's a couple of things that people so here's common misconceptions. One, people think, well, for it to be a bourbon, it has to be made in Kentucky. That's actually horseshit. It just has to be made in the United States, okay?
Right.
For it to be a bourbon, you do have to use American oak. Now, that oak can come from anywhere, and where that oak comes from
Yeah, it'll
is going to
change.
affect the flavor
Right.
a lot, right? Because if you got a cold climate oak, okay, those rings are super tight together, right?
Right.
Because the seasons of plenty, the seasons of warmth and sugar and sunlight and all that sort of thing is very short. And so the rings, the age of the tree, the rings are very tight together. And so the sugars are very tight together.
Yeah.
You use that wood, it is going to be a very different process. You're going to pull out different sugars, and it's going to pull out at a different rate than if you get wood, oak that is grown in Louisiana, right? Because it has a very much longer season where it's pulling up that sap. So
It doesn't
these
get cold
things,
in Louisiana.
it gets cool.
It gets cooler.
It gets cooler.
There's less humidity in the
it's less
air.
They still have age rings, right? So they still close down a little bit in the, for their in the aging process. But those you do have to use American oak, right? If you're making a bourbon.
I mean, because it's all about the aging at
Right.
the end of the day. I mean, I did this tasting with what was it, Doers, and I was just learning about like what their process was and all that kind of stuff. And I was surprised to hear about how much time they take in picking their barrels, like Doers specifically for like
Absolutely.
their higher end products. Like
Absolutely.
they send one guy, and this guy like inspects like 1,000 used barrels, and
Wood
he just picks like
grain,
4 or 5 of them.
Yes, hardness,
you know.
all that stuff. Yeah.
And another interesting fact about ocean barrel aging and like that whole thing, that actually are the first people to ever do that were the Swedes
Really?
with aquavit.
No, with akavit.
Deadass.
Oh,
Like,
fantastic.
I didn't know that. I did a consulting job with this Swedish guy, and he had this bar with like, I think they had like 90 plus bottles, and it was just everywhere, and I couldn't believe it. And the guy's like, yeah, I'm going to pay you this much an hour, drink as much as you want, just organize my bar for me. And he starts pulling down these Swedish whiskeys, and he's like, well, you work at Denmark. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, so you know about aquavit, right? And I'm like, yeah, we make our own. And he's like, yeah, I've had it. It's not good. And I'm like, cool. Thank you for
Touche.
that.
Thank you, sir.
Well, he's like, why it's not good is that you guys are keeping it in the fridge. And I'm like, I don't have any freezer space. He's like, that's unacceptable. And he opens up his freezer, and there's like a dozen bottles of aquavit in there. And he starts pouring us stuff, and he tells me, he's like, so you know like Jefferson's Ocean? I'm like, yeah, that bottle right there on your bar. And he's like, yeah. You know they got that idea from us, right? And I'm like, huh? What do you mean? He's like, well, aquavit is one of the like, because like it's grain alcohol, and then it's infused.
Yeah.
Which is the thing I mean, I'm not saying I love aquavit because I
Similar
manage
to
Denmark.
Yennefer, yeah, for sure.
Right, but it's a really beautiful spirit, and the way they treat it in Sweden, in Norway, in Denmark is really beautiful because it's the same way they treat like grappa in Italy,
For sure.
or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
cognac
Okay,
in France,
nice.
where they're like, there's a barrel on your family farm, and you just have your house aquavit. and you just have it all the time. And like they have like these Sunday dinners where it's just a bunch of sandwiches and all this kind of stuff, and then they down like 3 or 4 of these bottles of aquavit and like just eat at the same time. And I'm like, that's so cool. I want to go to Sweden.
That
Fuck.
should be me and you. Where
I
is
know,
that at?
right?
Why aren't we there?
I mean, we did that. It's brunch. You know, whatever. We
Brunch
don't-
at High Bank. Come on.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Brunch
dead
at High
ass.
Bank. Same thing.
But you know, but yeah, they originated the aging at sea because they would send their barrels because like they at the time, the way he explained it, at the time they didn't know that the barrels would do anything to the spirit. They were just trying to transport large volumes of alcohol to Canada, what is now Canada.
Sure.
And so the ship would, you know, take what do you say? Say like 3 or 4 months or something like that to sail
For
from.
sure. Yeah.
And when it would get there, it would have a different quality to it. But for the same reason you said, the levels of humidity rise during the day and they drop during the night. And like the barrels are constantly expanding and like contracting
for sure.
all the time. And like they absorb and like the angels share.
Yeah, so as the water evaporates through the barrel, right? The angels drink water, suckers,
Right.
and then what's left
Got 'em.
is the envy, right? And so much love to my friend Lindsay Gerard, who is a
whiskey guardian.
She's the whiskey guardian for Angels Envy
of Columbus.
my good friend. The angels envy, what they can't get to is what's in the barrel. Apparently, they can't get through barrels. I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, it's just wood.
I would like to make, if it's okay with you, I would like to make you a cocktail.
Let's do it. Welcome back, everybody. I'm here with Rudy Alexeff, and he just made me a tremendous cocktail, and I would like to know what it actually is. Even though, as a bartender, I know what the fuck it is.
You
so
know
don't-
what it is. But,
I know.
But let me just describe it for our listeners because they're not here in the studio.
Right.
What I did is I made one of my favorite cocktails right now. And one of my favorite cocktails, just in general, is a Manhattan. Manhattans are traditionally made with rye whiskey. And High Bank is a rye whiskey, right? Now it's not classified as a rye because rye is classified typically if it's 90% rye in the mash bill or above.
If you gave
Ours
me
is
any of your
85.
spirits, I would not be like, I'd be like, this is bourbon.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so ours is closer to like 80, you know, but the mixture of them, it feels rye heavy, right?
Right,
And so
for sure.
it tastes like a rye, which is 90%, but it's about 80. So I use the barrel proof of our whiskey.
Which,
War,
for those that don't
right?
know, was barrel proof. How what's the percentage of that versus regular?
So ours, this one that I pulled is sitting at 118 proof, right? So this
Proof
is a
versus
real
percentage.
Yeah, so we're talking 59%.
And to be a liquor, to be an actual foolproof liquor, you need to be 40%. So this is
Legitimate. This is not an illegitimate whiskey. This is a legitimate whiskey.
it's almost illegitimate though
Yeah.
how strong it is.
It is.
But
it is.
as some people may not know, as the stronger the whiskey is, like we were talking about Booker's earlier,
For sure.
it actually is sweeter.
It is.
The caramel notes and the vanilla notes actually come out stronger in higher proof spirits, but you need less.
You do.
Yeah.
You need less.
Yeah.
This one. So and then I also use Antica, which is my favorite red vermouth. It's my favorite sweet vermouth to use.
It's the vermouth.
It's the vermouth. You actually, you know, if and you've done this before. I know I do this when I go out. Maybe we even have done this together. Antica can be done on its own. It is a fortified wine that you can drink on its own. You don't need anything else. It's a cocktail by itself.
Between 12 and 16%,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So you're drinking like a really stiff beer or
Correct me if I'm wrong,
double
but
wine.
Fortified wines are aperitifs?
They
Or are they digestives?
No, they are typically aperitifs.
Aperitifs because they make you salivate.
Yeah, because
That
they make
tricks
you
your mind
salivate.
to be like,
They're
"Oh, I'm
ready,
hungry."
like you're
Yeah.
ready for more, right? And they're typically a little bit sweeter, and so you're ready for more. The digestives are more on the earthy side, herbal side.
Fernet is like the
Fernet,
go-to,
yeah,
like
Cynar,
digestive.
yeah, Averna Silesiano, those type things.
Oh, I haven't
right? Yeah.
Cynar in so long, but like I do this all the time whenever I go to a restaurant. I have a big meal. I will always, and I'll start with like, do you have Fernet? Most places do not, but if they do, I'm like, give me a fat shot of Fernet because honestly, digestives are a thing for a reason.
They are.
They
for sure.
really like
They work.
You have like a full
They
stomach. You're
work.
like, oh my gosh, I feel so full. And then you take the shot and it suddenly like just decompresses just a little bit. Not like, oh my God, I don't feel anymore. You're like, oh, I feel better now.
When people are, you know when you get to uncomfortable full? When
Yeah.
you get to uncomfortable full,
Every time I
no
eat.
one knows what to do, right? They're like, can I drink water? No, that makes me more bloated. Can I drink, what can I do? A digestif will take off that edge every time.
So well. But like the people are always like hesitant because digestifs are always not pleasant to drink. While I and all bartenders present love Fernet. My God, you give that to a regular person,
I'm
they're
about
like,
to make you so sad.
I don't want to take a shot of mouthwash, bro. Come on. And even Shinar, like, or Sinar, as everyone calls it.
Yeah.
It's not good. Like we were talking about earlier, like what is a good flavor versus what is something that you understand, like a developed flavor.
Totally.
Like the digestifs are like whiskey's here. You guys can't see my hands, but digestifs are so much higher. They're so intense.
They're super intense.
Usually they're also under proof. They're not full proof. And Fernet specifically is 38% alcohol, which is 2% under full proof.
Yeah.
So you take a shot of Fernet, it's not just settling your stomach, but you're also adding on to that buzz that you got from dinner.
Yeah, you can also
But
you also can increase your buzz. So I'm gonna say something that's gonna offend every craft bartender in
I will
Columbus.
strike you, Rudy.
I'm just gonna make every craft bartender in Columbus really upset right now.
There's
Listen.
5 in the room right now, so like here we go.
I
Except
love
for
you.
Father
I
Nick.
love you guys. I want you to accept me for who I am, and I'm about to admit something vulnerable. I hate Fernet. I hate it. Now listen, I
Podcast
love
over.
Shinar. I know. I love Shinar. I love Averna Siliciano. I love Jaeger. I love the digestifs. I love them for what they are. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I love them for what they are. Fernet,
Jaeger gets a bad rap.
Jaeger gets a really
is
bad
a
rap.
very well accumulated spirit.
It is.
It really
It
is.
is really good.
But
It gets a super bad
the
rap.
college community of this country has ruined its fucking name. I was a
the-
part of that.
The fraternities and sororities ruined a fantastic digestif. Fuck
Yeah,
those guys.
they really did. Because like honestly, if a guest is like talking to me about like a digestif and like I have Jaeger, I'll be like, oh, there's Fernet and Shinar and there's a couple other brands that people won't recognize, but Jaeger is in that. It is not a Amaro because it comes from Germany, and Amaros technically come out of Italy.
Italy, yeah.
But that's the same thing as like we were talking about on the break, the bourbon thing.
Yeah, what? Yeah.
One of the best bourbons I've ever had came out of fucking Phoenix, Arizona. And it's called Copper City Bourbon, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck. And they call it like straight bourbon, not Kentucky bourbon, whatever.
Yeah, well, Kentucky bourbon has to be made in Kentucky, but bourbon can be made anywhere in the United States, right? To be Kentucky bourbon, you also have to age a minimum of 2 years.
Yeah.
Technically, a bourbon doesn't have to be aged at all.
Yeah, but fuck
I just broke everyone's.
You were talking about Middle West earlier.
Mine just now.
They had that unaged rye.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't clean a wound on the battlefield with that rye. The unaged rye that was like 180 fucking proof. I'm like, and I told the owners because I love Middle West. They're fucking great. And I know the guys that own it. Back when Bubbles and
they're
Agave,
actually brilliant. They're actually brilliant there. They're brilliant.
Guys, why are you selling this fucking lighter fluid to people? I can't cover up this kind of heat. That's like me making a cocktail of Everclear. It's too hot. Like I can't do anything with it. And they have since, like, no, they still make it. I think they've toned down the heat in it a little bit.
They have toned down the heat.
But which is the right thing to do because it is a fun spirit. Having those really high proof liquors is beneficial to bartenders like us.
Yeah.
But
we digress.
We
digress.
We digress.
This
together.
cocktail, made with Antica. Getting back to that one,
right? We're still talking about this fucking
fantastic,
drink. That's right.
fantastic. The Manhattan for me. There's people ask me this: if you were on death row, I'm gonna get real serious. If you were on death row and you had one cocktail you could drink, I'm really confused as to if I would drink a Manhattan or a gin martini. Like I don't know what my last drink
Great
would
question,
be. Right?
Because honestly, if I was on death row, I was supposed to be like executed, like ritually.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I want a Ramos Gin Fizz.
Ramos Gin, yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna order the most rude thing you can ever order at any bar.
It's so terrible.
And you know what? If the foam isn't lifted the way it should, fuck off. Do it again.
If you're not a bartender and you're listening to this, you need to know this. If you order a Ramos Gin Fizz, you're an asshole.
You are.
You're an asshole.
And every time I see a bartender say, like, it's cool to order those things, I'm like, yeah, if it's me and it's you ordering it. Because I'm like, okay, it is, because it is a good cocktail. It's a tremendous drink. It really is. But it's fucking annoying to get
Oh,
right.
so bad.
And if some random asshole walks in, like the Pearl, love the Pearl, one of my favorite restaurants in the Short North, they have the fucking rainbows on the menu. And I'm like, dude, are you just asking for people to punch you in the face? Like,
what they're hoping is that people are scared of gin. What's
everyone's scared
wonderful?
of gin.
What's
Gin and
wonderful? What's wonderful, I think, and you've seen this even in Columbus, right? Partly because of Watershed, partly actually because of High Bank, right?
Yeah.
Because we're making gins that are appealing to people. The gin market, especially in Columbus, is growing, I would say, at a faster rate than other cities because we've got a, with Middle West, we've got the full spectrum. With Middle West, we've got a traditional London Dry gin, right? We've got a traditional London Dry.
Yeah, it is.
With Watershed, we got a hybrid. It's halfway
it's
between.
It's an American gin.
Yeah,
citrus gins are American style gins,
but it's halfway, right?
Right.
I mean, if you taste it, it's definitely got the floral notes. You're definitely getting.
Love State House, but Watershed 4PL is my favorite gin of all time.
Well, it's.
I love citrusy gins.
You're not going to get me to say that I hate Watershed gin. You're not going to get me to say that because I love
anyone that says they don't like Watershed, I'm like, how?
No, for sure.
No,
you're
not citrus, really?
Well, I'm you
Fuck
know,
you, Blair.
Talking to me. I was a gin lover first. So I sell mostly whiskey, and I'm a whiskey lover, and I would consider myself a whiskey professional. I at least drink it professionally. I would say this. Yeah. So you and I are professionals.
Oh God.
But I was a gin lover first, right? So all the London Dries, all that's my world. I love that, right? So I love them in Petal. Middle West makes a great gin, right?
Yeah.
I love Watershed. They make a hybrid of a London Dry and American style gin.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hybrid. It's in the middle.
Beautiful. It
right?
really
It's in the spectrum. And then you've got High Bank, which is full out, no holds barred, all the way American style gin.
Yes, it is.
Right?
Absolutely.
So in the city of Columbus, you have the full spectrum with our distilleries, giving you the full spectrum of gin, all the way from London Dry all the way to American style.
Well, and again,
gin.
we're forgetting about what 451 does and their clawfoot. I don't even know where to put clawfoot on that spectrum.
I'm at a loss, honestly.
Yeah, right.
Often with 451, I'm going, where do I categorize this?
Because it's an incredible flavor, but you like when you taste, like we were talking about Bone Shaker earlier. When you taste clawfoot, it's so incredibly cardamom heavy throughout, which is great.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're like, wow, this isn't like gins I've had before. Like you're talking about the London Dry, the meta between American style gins and the classic London Dry.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're like, all right, we're gonna, like, you guys are over here, we're gonna go that way.
Yeah.
With this.
Yeah, they went like there was a line, there was a straight line that everyone was following.
Right.
And then in typical fashion for them, they'd like turn left or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
But since we have a limited time, let's move on to the other question. I wanted to ask you how do you feel about the creative environment in Columbus? Because this is something that I know me and you have talked about before.
For sure.
But there is a desire in this city to hype everything up.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a bad way, but just like we want to be the best. And we are the best in a lot of ways, or at least we have the ability to be the best.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about this environment of always trying to get better? Like the way 6 and 4 magazine is always putting on those cocktail competitions that me and you have been in together.
Yeah, we've been in those,
And we will often, and I love 6 and 4 magazine. They actually
they're great people.
Take our city to another level, and I love them for that.
Love them.
But one of our issues, or maybe just my issue, when I participated in 6 of their competitions, their holiday competitions, I won one and I've placed in every single other one. But every single time I have been irritated by the judges that they pick and the people that come in to like be a part of a cocktail competition, because it's not someone that you would expect to have any kind of knowledge.
The thing, so I'm with you. I hear you because I've done it with you. We've been there together. We've been side by side, right?
Right.
The thing that I think is hard to do, and so they do. I think they do the most difficult part, which is like getting everyone together, which is having a competition, which is putting it on, which is getting it sponsored, which is getting it at a great venue, which is they do all of the hard parts. They
usually host at the Joseph, and the Joseph, Kyle, the manager there,
they crush it, right?
They're great. They're so great.
They're so good. So they do all the hard parts, and they crush it. And then there's the part where it's like, let's select people to judge it. I think they would do better to serve themselves and us if they got judges from out of town that don't know any of us, that don't know our process, don't know because
they're objective. They're actually objective versus I'm a critic of Columbus food.
And I'm not saying that the judges that have done things are bad people or even not great. I just maybe it's a personal thing. I just am going, I would rather have somebody that I don't know.
True.
Sitting in that seat. Does that make sense?
No, it absolutely does.
Then even one time it was like a good friend of mine. And I'm like, I even feel uncomfortable having a good friend of mine sitting on the judgment seat.
Yeah.
I would rather have somebody else. That's the only thing. And if that's what we're complaining about, well, geez.
When I participated in the De La Rosa competition for Backroom Coffee Roasters, it made sense because they had a watershed rep, an actual bartender, and then the Backroom Coffee Roasters main roaster guy. But it made sense why he was there. I'm like, we're using your products, your coffee. We have to incorporate your coffee in our drink in some way, shape, or form. So it makes sense why you're here.
Yep.
Versus like having some fucking guy that like likes to go on like High Street every once in a while.
It's not necessarily that they're not qualified, that they're not like ready to do this.
Of course not.
There is I think at least in our minds, at least in my mind, there's a familiarity that I would rather not be there. Even if you are objective, I want to feel like it's more objective. Does that make sense?
The other thing that's always like annoyed me about, like, not even annoying me, just like something I think our city can improve on is the pay to play environment that Columbus is inducing. And at the same time, I also understand why it exists.
Totally.
We are a small market.
We are.
Without a fucking doubt. There is a reason why,
compared to the markets we want to be with.
Exactly.
Other markets, they're like you're the big market for sure. Yeah.
Dude, we are Chicago wannabes like a motherfucker. And
we're baby Chicago, and everybody knows that.
Wannabes is the wrong word, but like we are trying to be Chicago for sure. And when I consider myself a competition bartender. You know, I compete in every single fucking thing I can. I submit to everything. You know this about me.
I do know this, yeah.
I feel like people are getting tired of seeing my names on fucking rosters. Like this, like the fucking bartenders brawl at Echo Spirits at River Social. Like they put my name on top, and I'm like, just put it down a little bit, because they read Sean Taylor from Denmark. They're like, of course that fucking asshole's in this. Like he submits to fucking everything. But I enjoy these competitions so much.
You love the community of doing this competition.
I love Columbus. I'm not from here. I've lived here for 6 years, and I fucking love this city. Yeah. I love High Street.
Yeah.
You know, like, shout out to David Yee, that fucking article he put out last night.
So
you shared
wonderful.
it too. It's so fucking wonderful.
Beautiful
Columbus
article.
Underground, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Go check it out. It's a beautifully worded fucking interview from David Yee at Oddfellows, and we have so many leaders in this community.
We do.
And it's just growing. It's just growing. Like, we're like, literally, High Street used to be like the place.
Mm-hmm.
And over the past 5 years, it's just going out in every direction.
Oh, yeah.
Grandview, you guys, now,
sure.
I can walk from Watershed if they were open.
Yeah.
I'd walk from Watershed to Echo. They open in like a month or so, maybe. I don't fucking know.
Come on, it's happening, baby.
And then Natalie's, and then High Bank. Like, you can walk through Grandview and go
and
to places.
451's just down the road. I mean, it's like it's close too.
Right. Yeah. But like the walkability of the short north is what has made it always like so enticing.
For sure.
You know, like I can start at Denmark, and then Novak's, Barley's, fucking, you know, Martini, all this shit. Like, you can just like walk. It's only a mile. The short north is a mile. I don't know if you guys know that. The short north is a fucking mile.
It's not
that far to walk anywhere.
It's great.
But
it's great. Columbus is awesome.
It really is. But I like that we're expanding. Because you guys specifically, High Bank, you guys are expanding the walkability of Columbus, and also the ability of people to go from a single street, which a lot of places have, like us, and now there's Grandview, and there's Old Town East, and there's Italian Village. It's not just the short north anymore, because it used to be the short north for a long fucking time.
For a long time. Yeah,
you guys were. It still kind of is.
Short North was holding they were holding down the fort. They were waving the banner for a long time, but I think all of the things, all of the areas in Columbus, and one of the, that's sort of like the thing that sort of, I think, I mean, one of the things that I'm most proud about High Bank for, not only did we sort of like, we came in riding the coattails, we came in benefit from others. We also love to celebrate other people. And that's sort of what
you guys have always had that.
Yeah, we love
every
that.
single time you fucking talk, like literally, you're like,
yeah.
Not to be offensive, but you're like a politician. You're like, I love everybody. Before I say this, I love all the distilleries, but I enjoy that. That's a Columbus ethos. Is that you love everyone loves everybody. I don't speak ill of anyone. Like I'll say negative things, like I've said previously. I'll say a negative thing, but I'm like, it's just a criticism. I love you guys. You guys are fucking great.
For sure.
But like we all need to be open enough to be like, yeah, I don't like that you did that move.
I mean, that's what
fine. I don't need to agree with you all the time.
You've been on that's what Cabinet Cocktails is all about for
that
having Distillery, right?
My last question for you was Cabinet Cocktails because honestly, for most people that like know me, they know that at Denmark, my mentor is Gary White, and Gary White is probably one of the smartest mixologists, chefs in the city. Without a doubt, like when you think of the greats in the city, it's definitely like Gary White is top.
He's the man. Yeah.
And that's my mentor, and I fucking love that man to death.
Me too.
But the way he approaches this business is different. Like he doesn't go out and like he's never been to High Bank. He's never been to Middle Westbury. He's never been to Watershed.
Yeah, he's like at home with a like journal, like writing and learning and
and that's awesome, right?
No, he's awesome. Yeah.
It's beautiful. But
we do things a little different.
Yeah, and we all do. But one of the things that he loves to mention about this city is the collective. We want to make Columbus great. And I'm really sorry, I just sounded like Trump there for a second. But Columbus has always, since I've been doing this for 5 years, but I have noticed the entire time that everyone wants to make this city something more than it is, because not that it isn't that, it is that.
Yeah. And
everyone, our friends that do these podcasts, our friends that like promote their liquor brand, you guys, I truly believe we're like a year or two away from being like baby Chicago.
For sure.
Like, for the way that the country looks at Columbus, Ohio, because honestly, I don't know how well traveled anyone in the room is, but like if I think of Ohio, I think of Cleveland, Cincinnati. No offense. I live in Columbus. I love you, Columbus. Sorry. But who the fuck thinks of Ohio? It's like thinking of Illinois. What the fuck's in Illinois? You mean Chicago?
Yeah, I understand.
But we're well on our fucking way. Like when I went to Portland for the Espelon competition, I was like, this is Columbus in like a couple years.
For sure. We're super close.
God,
and
we're right there.
One of the things that specifically that I get to put my hand to at High Bank with Cabinet Cocktails is they said to me, like, Rudy, what do you want to do with Cabinet Cocktails? And I said, I want to feature the bartenders that have been cutting their teeth for a long time, that I respect, that have been doing a great job, and I want us as High Bank, I want us to promote them.
Yeah.
That I want to, I'm going to invite a guest bartender on. They're going to host Cabinet Cocktail. They're going to look at what is in someone's cabinet. They're going to make them a cocktail. And because I know that our city has the talent, has the fire and the passion.
Look at the couch next to us.
Yeah, I know.
Dripping in talent.
But they have the passion. They have the skills. They have all this that all these other cities have. No one just knows about it.
Yeah.
And so
no one does. We all think about our city.
Yeah.
But Columbus, I do believe, is a little bit like there's an energy in the city that is unlike any city I've visited, because no, I haven't been around the world, but I have been all the fuck over this country. Yeah. And honestly, Atlanta's dope. LA's cool. New York's really cool. But their energy has been the same for a long time. Columbus is literally on the rise.
It's on the rise.
All the fucking time. We're always trying to prove things. And Cabinet Cocktails is a perfect fucking example of why this city is trying to do something different.
Yeah.
And that's the reason I got a little like sidetracked, but like that's why the reason I brought up Gary is like he loves the Cabinet Cocktail idea. It's because it inherently is a beautiful idea that someone who has a home bar who just likes to drink at home and like
Totally.
has things that they have no idea what the fuck to do with.
The average person,
And then
man.
they're like, hey, I want to take a picture and I can like, be featured on this fucking podcast. And then someone as dope as you are going to be like, okay, you have these things. And by the way, it's almost a shame that you're not interviewing me. Not that I'm an interesting person to interview, but you are a tremendous host. Go watch Cabinet Cocktails or Barrelside Chat because this man is a tremendous fucking host. Your on-screen performance, also your editor is great because I've been there on set
So
for a while.
good.
There's a lot of fuck-ups, but that's like, that energy is what makes it so much fun to watch. Like, you're just a fucking person.
Yeah,
Like, you're just you.
we-
Like you're not like, you don't hello, welcome to the Cabinet Cocktail podcast. It's like,
Yeah, no one
there's
thinks
so
that about
many,
me.
like, Rudy, like, just fucks up and says something that he should have said, and then, like, the editor just knocks that out.
Yeah.
It's so great, and, like, it makes it authentic. But you do real things. Like,
But that to me, that doesn't that sort of encapsulate our city and our community. You know, we've been through a lot of shit with this COVID stuff, you know,
Yeah.
like everybody has. And I'm not saying that we experience it unique more than anyone else in the country.
right.
But what I have seen is, even in the midst of this, I have seen a group of people that come together that believe in each other, that
Yep.
are saying like, hey, look, you know, like the average person, their cabinet matters. And we're gonna feature you, right? We're gonna feature you, and we're gonna
Interesting choice of
highlight
words,
you.
but okay.
But
Your-
but
all
these are the,
cabinets matter.
no, I
Am I
say
the one
that.
that heard
I
that?
say that. But as a because I know I say that because our city is the reason why I think we're kind of unique and special. Why the energy feels like you're describing it, always on the rise.
Yeah.
Is because there's a tight knitness
Absolutely.
together in our
We all know
community.
each other.
Yeah, we all know
I
each
can't
other.
go anywhere
We all
without
care.
being like,
Yeah,
what's up, Sean? I'm
we know
like,
each other.
just trying
Yeah,
to have a fucking meal, man. Like,
and
all
so
right.
when somebody sends in a picture of their cabinet, and Sean from Denmark makes their cocktail, like we just
bad
posted,
girl.
right? Yeah,
The bad girl,
like
yeah.
the bad girl, right? When we then post that, they go, my community is so tight knit that like one of the best bartenders that exists in the state of Ohio made my cocktail. Okay, then all of a sudden, the average person, they're elevated, they're brought into this tight knit community, and that's what makes Columbus better, in my opinion, than Chicago. Better, in my opinion, than some of these other cities, is because we've got this tight passion on the rise, but
Without
we're
a
still
doubt.
a tight community.
Without a doubt, man.
Yeah.
And we got to wrap it up, but I would like to end on a note that I respect and adore High Bank and Rudy for bringing the community together even more than it already was. Excuse me. Even we were already a tight knit community, and High Bank stepped in, and you guys were those guys. It's like you guys have been in the industry for years, which apparently you were. 2016, whatever. I just appreciate the fuck out of you guys. I wanted to thank the Craft Cocktail Tour and If This Bar Could Talk for letting me be a guest host, because I appreciate it quite a bit. And Leanne and Blair are literally one of the two best people in like this fucking city and the world. Love these two. But I'd also like to give a special shout out to my friend, my dear friend and colleague, Rudy Alexeff. And I want to let him have a plug. But before he has his plug, follow me at Sean Anthony Taylor and follow me at Denmark on High. But I'm going to pass it off to my friend Rudy Alexeff for his plugs.
You can follow me at Rudy Alexeff on Instagram, or better yet, follow High Bank Distillery, because you follow that account, you're going to see me, you're going to see Cabinet Cocktails, you're going to enjoy that time.
You're going to see me.
You're going to see Sean Anthony Taylor, my good friend. And so do that. Friends, if you are at home and you have not supported your local bars and restaurants, do me a favor, get a to-go cocktail, get some food to go, sponsor your bartenders. You can do that. Tip well. Listen, we're in a tough time together, but we're going to get through it. On the other side, what you want to be able to say is that you supported your friends and you supported your community, and you can be proud of that. So do that, and that all starts from starting by being a good person, by tipping your friends, by listening to podcasts like this. Quite literally, it's by having friends like Greg Hansberry.
Look at that majestic mane he has.
If this bar
Goddamn.
if this bar could talk, it would say, "Hang out with Greg Hansberry."
Honestly,
Thank you to our producer.
it wouldn't even be us. It'd be like, hang out with Greg.
To you, my friend, cheers, and cheers to Columbus.
Cheers to Columbus.
Listeners, please rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Seabus Craft Cocktail Tour, and visit our website at columbuscraftcocktailtour.com for cocktail tour dates, women and whiskey tastings, and other events and merchandise. Thanks to our producer, Greg Hansberry, and to the biographer for our original music. Please remember to drink responsibly, tip appropriately, and be cocktail curious. Cheers!
This has been a Last Call Productions production.